All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is day 4 of Coachmas 2024. And on the fourth day of Coachmas, I am your coach, Tony Barnes, your corner coach. And we are going to dig into today's topic. Today, we are going to be focused on time domination. So I want to start this conversation out with this one simple phrase: you don't need more time. You need to dominate the time that you have. Now, let's stop focusing on being so busy and start focusing on being super, super productive. Listen, this is what I know for sure. As we kick off day 4 of Coachmas, we are definitely digging into one of the biggest barriers to success, and that's the mishandling and the misprioritization of time. So let me ask you this. How many of you feel like, listen, there is just never enough time, not enough hours in a day, not enough days in this week, not enough weeks in this month, certainly not enough months in this quarter. Could we get one more quarter for the year? And oh my goodness, where am I going to find the time? If that's you, go ahead and put it in the comment box. That's me. I definitely struggle with time. If that's something that you have a challenge with, don't worry. We're going to cover it today, and we're going to give you some big, big strategies to help you push forward in a greater, greater way. So, if you feel like there is never enough time in the day, here is the truth: time really isn't the problem. And if you don't mind, if I could really say it like it is, time really isn't the problem. You are. That's right. Time is not the problem. The hours ticking, the seconds moving, that's not the issue. The issue is that oftentimes we don't know how to dominate. We don't know how to properly prioritize our time. But I don't want you to worry about that. Throw that out your mind, because we're going to flip the script today. I'm going to show you how to go from constantly feeling overwhelmed to simply becoming the master of your time. Imagine this. Imagine waking up every day with an absolute clear plan of what has to happen so that you can knock out your priorities. Now, that's going to be a very special word for the day: priorities, and still end up having time for the things that really matter most. Does that sound good? I hope so. Let's go ahead and make it happen. So, listen, time is the great equalizer. Everyone gets the same amount of hours every single day. 24 hours in the day. But the difference between spinning your wheels and crushing your goals comes down to simply how you use your time. How do you use those hours? What happens in that 24-hour space of time? Here are 3 major traps most people fall into, and here is how to escape them. Trap number 1: prioritizing the wrong things. Listen, you spend too much of your time on tasks that simply don't move the needle. How do we fix that? Here's the solution: you need to focus on your big 3 priorities each day, things that directly impact your goals. Your big 3 priorities are the things that will really move the needle. So as you sit down today, what you should do is maybe take about 30 minutes and say, listen, however today started is how it started. I'm going to go ahead and start using this as a practice today. Write down your big 3 priorities for today. What 3 critical things have to happen so that I can move toward my goal, from my A to my B, from my here to my there, from this place to the that place that I said I really wanted to be. Trap number 2: letting distractions take over. You got too many notifications, too many emails, so many shiny objects tend to eat up your focus. How do we solve for that, Tony? Great question. I'd be happy to answer that. Time block your day. Schedule dedicated blocks of time for deep work, deep focus. Make them sacred and guard them with all of your ferociousness. Every inch of your fierceness needs to protect your time blocks. Put them in place and make them sacred. Here is trap number 3: starting without a plan. You waste time deciding what to do instead of just going on and doing it. Here's how we combat that. You simply need to plan your day the night before. If you really want to level it up, we talked about making those huge goals. Last session, we talked about reverse engineering. You can take reverse engineering your success into really getting clear on what needs to happen once again, day over day. We talked about reverse engineering our success for the year, quarter by quarter, month by month, and then week by week, and we even dialed it in to day by day. How you combat this starting the day without a plan is to make sure that once I identify my goals, once I clarify what my big three priorities are, I can then time block those and make sure that I have a super solid plan for the day. And I have to do that before the day gets here. That way, when you wake up, you're ready to execute what has to happen. Now, when you take control of your time, you do this, you take control of your life. I'm going to say it again. When you take control of your time, you take control of your life. And this is how we're going to break this down into more clear, actionable steps. So here is a simple 3-step time domination system. Again, write down your big 3 priorities for tomorrow. Write down your 3 big priorities for tomorrow. Let's go ahead and plan our tomorrow out today. Okay. Now, what are the 3 things you absolutely must accomplish in order to feel successful by the end of the day? What has to happen tomorrow from the time you wake up to the time you get ready to get in bed, that when you get ready to lay your head down, you're going to initially automatically feel that feeling of success, because you know what? You're going to say, you know what? I did it. I planned today and I executed today just like I planned it. Schedule your day using the time blocking that we talked about. Block off your big 3 first. So I'm identifying my big 3. Now I'm going to use time blocking to say, hey, I need an hour for this one. I need 30 minutes for that one. I may need 3 hours for my third priority. Whatever those big 3 priorities are, we're now going to combine the big 3 strategy with the time blocking strategy. And now everything else has to fit in around my big 3 priorities for the day. Lastly, I want you to identify your number 1 distraction. And I want you to create a strategy to eliminate it. Maybe I'm going to take a stab. I'm going to jump off the ledge here and say, maybe it's the device that you're watching this on right now. Maybe it's the time you're spending on TikTok. Maybe it's this time that you're spending just browsing Amazon. Maybe it's the time you're spending in an absolute place that is opposite from where your priorities and your goals are. Those are the time snatchers. Those are the distractions that are eating away at your time. But I want you to focus on one. And here's how you're going to do that. Turn off some of those notifications. Go ahead and learn how to set some boundaries with your coworkers. Talk about creating focus zones in your home. Get a good rhythm, get a good habit of saying, hey, this particular time, this happens. That particular time, that happens. When I get home, we study. With my kids, I set up a strong routine for them that we handle our homework, we handle our housework, and then after those 2 things are done, then we get to hang out, play video games, chill out, spend family time. Homework, housework, then everything else. All right? So if you had just 1 hour tomorrow to work on your goals, what would you do? Why is this important? Why is that important? Because most of you listening to this right now still have a 9 to 5, right? You're building someone else's dreams while your dream sits on the back burner. And the number 1 reason your dream sits on the back burner is simply because of what we're talking about today. You always say, I don't have the time. I would go to the gym, but I don't have the time. I would write that book, but I don't have the time. I would go back to school, but I don't have the time. Listen, you have to create the time. You have to learn how to dominate your time. Make your time fit into the life that you want to intentionally build, not the other way around, not sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time, waiting for your time boat to show up, waiting for the right time. The only right time is the now time. And that means you have to start taking action now to address your dreams while you're building someone else's dreams. I'm not telling you to quit your 9 to 5. I'm not telling you to quit your job and just jump out there and do something silly. No, I'm not telling you to do that at all. But you have to create time and take another level of control over what's going on in your life so that you can really dial in and start moving closer to what seems like a far off in the distant dream. So after we talk about 1 hour tomorrow that you can work towards your goal, what is the number one thing stealing your focus and how are you going to handle it? That's what I want you to write down. That's what I want you to journal down today. That's what I want you to carry your focus on over the next couple of hours after you watch this video. Those are the questions I want you to ask. If I had just 1 hour to work on my goals, what would I really do? And what is the one thing, that number one distraction stealing my focus? How am I going to handle it? Listen, what I want you to do, put that one thing snatching your focus in the comment section. Take a bold step. Pop it in the comment section. Let me know. I'd be happy to connect with you and help you put a deeper strategy, a more tailored strategy together on how you specifically can overcome that. Now, here's our actionable homework. We've been doing this day over day. Here is day 4's homework. Tonight, I want you to write down again your big 3 priorities for tomorrow. We're washing, we're rinsing, we're repeating this. That's how you build the habit. You work the muscle, you repeat it. The repetitions that you need to start moving forward are all locked into the new behaviors that you're going to start exhibiting. This practice is going to help you. Write down the big 3 priorities for your next day. Time block your schedule for the day. Go ahead and put this into a deeper level of practice. If you do it now, if you do it with 22 days left in the year, this is what I'm going to guarantee you, that you will have a incredible skill built, a muscle built by the time January 1st hits. That way, you're not losing any momentum. You're not getting to the first of the year and saying, oh, what am I going to start? You're not getting to the first of the year and like, well, I guess I need to plan this out. No, you'll already have a rhythm and a cadence built and going in place so that by the time the clock strikes midnight on New Year's Eve, you know that when you get up on day 1 of the year, you're going to have a strategy and a plan that you're going to attack and execute like you never had before. Here's your homework. Again, write down those big 3 priorities for tomorrow. Time block your schedule for the day, even if it's just 30 minutes of deep work focused in that time, on that time. Remember, how do I do the time blocks? I'm going to put these things in place after I identify my big 3, and then I'm going to protect them fearlessly. Here's your bonus action of boldness, right? Share your big 3 priorities for the next day and schedule it and put that on your stories. Big 3 priorities. What's your schedule? Throw it in your story. Go ahead and tag me in it. And again, I would love to come alongside you and help you work on this a little bit deeper. Well, listen, here's what I know. Time does not control us. We control our time. When we start owning our hours instead of our hours owning us, everything begins to change. You'll have more focus. You'll have more freedom. You'll have more results than you ever had before. Your future self is watching you right now, and it's saying, thank you so much for showing up today. Thank you so much for taking a deeper level of control over your life. Well, listen, family, tomorrow we're taking things up a notch with the focus factor. We're going to eliminate distractions and amplify our results like we never have before. Make sure you're dialed in. I don't want you to miss it. We'll be jumping on in the morning again with the same level of energy, the same level of intensity and focus. Until then, I want you to go dominate your day. Show yourself what's possible. Do me a favor, tag a friend, share this, like this, make sure someone else gets connected to these 12 days of absolute coaching focus that's going on. These are not behaviors that you really want to pass by. These are focuses and skill sets that you definitely need to build so that you can finish strong this year and go into next year with an amazing intensity that you never thought you could. So once again, tag a friend, like this, share this, get it out to someone that you know needs it. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the morning.